What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mustard, back with another video. And today we here to talk about the Callisto protocol. Now, before I start this game, I'm really about to try to get into the horror genre. So, y'all gonna see games, but y'all also probably gonna see a lot more horror games, because that's why I kind of want to get into playing. But anyways, let's get into the Callisto protocol. The big game of, well, supposedly one of the big games of last year, because it's a horror sci-fi, and everyone thought it was going to kind of be like the Dead Space franchise. And I can't get my thought on that yet, because I haven't played that franchise yet. But pretty much, your name's like Jacob. I don't remember this dude's last name. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. And you are pretty much like, of course you're in space, and you're like delivering like medical supplies to like certain places and stuff like that. You're almost like you're like a space trucker in a way. But when delivering those supplies, you figure out that areas are being infected by this disease or whatever. And pretty much what happens is people invade your ship, and you pretty much end up failing to land your plane, because these people, when they landed your ship, they destroy vital parts of your ship, bro. So you pretty much be forced to land. And when you get forced to land, you end up being found and taken to what is known as Black Iron Prison. Yeah, so you get wrongfully put in jail, which I actually thought that crap was hilarious. But the disease that I was saying from in the beginning, you end up it ends up making its way into the jail. So, you get like, what is that thing called? You get like this thing put in your neck, and pretty much you can, it's like your health bar in the game. But in the game world, you can hear people's messages and all this other stuff, and you can see what they see if you still there, like neck tab. I don't even know what to really call that thing. I'm sorry, y'all. I already felt like I failed y'all. But anyways, the jail gets overrun, and you're pretty much finding your way out. You run into some dude named Elias, and he's pretty much trying to help you get out too. But you help Elias get out of the cage when you first meet him, because Elias knows more about the prison than you do. He's been in there a lot longer than you do. So pretty much you go through the game fighting these humans that are infected by the disease, and you have the help of Elias, and they help you. He's helping you get out of the prison. And long before hold, later on in the game, you do end up finding one of the people who actually attacked your ship in the first place, and her name is Danny. And you don't know why she's there, but she actually got taken away when you got taken away in the beginning too. And your main goal for the most part of this game is to make it out of the prison. Now, before I go any further, I will say I'm gonna start off with saying that the controls for this game, they're not good at all. I'm sorry. Like, the dodge system is garbage. I did get it after a while. I 100% give them that. It is a take time to understand the dodge system, but to dodge the same way you're moving is absolutely garbage. Like, other than that, like, the gun system was fine, the melee system was fine, but like, the main thing that you have to do when you're fighting these enemies is dodge, because later on in the game, you're gonna figure out enemy types get harder. There are different enemy types, stuff like that. I will say they did do a nice job with enemy types. I wouldn't say there was a lot, but like, I wasn't just getting regular mutated humans. I was getting like humans that were like spiders, and then the boss with the two heads, and then the regular enemy types actually started getting like more armor too, so it was harder for them to die. So that was cool. But back to the story. You end up being with Elias, like I said in the beginning, and then you do end up getting like this glove that lets you like teleport. I wouldn't say teleport. Gravity. You you can forcefully move them and stuff like that. God, my mind is like not there today. And then you end up getting the suit, which I think the suit was just there for show. Like, somebody tell me if it really did anything else. But other than that, as you go through the game, you do get other weapons. Like, you get another pistol, you get another shotgun, and you have to pick up these things, credits, which is pretty much their currency, to level up your weapons and stuff like that, and get whatever you need to essentially make it through the game. Now, what sucks is you actually do get thrown off of Black Iron Prison, and you get thrown into like the snow, and you end up being lost or whatever. Elias eventually dies, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if they were trying to make it tear at your heartstrings that he dies, but like, it really didn't do much. Like, I'm sorry, it didn't do much for me. Like, he died, I was like, it's cool. So after he dies, you end up meeting back up with Danny, and you and Danny aren't friends, bro. Like, she fucked your ship up. Like, bro, she fucked your ship up looking for something on your ship. So pretty much later on in the game, she thought that your ship was like filled with the bio mutagen to, you know, she thought you were one of the people in Black Iron, like screwing her over. When she opens it, she does figure out that it's just medical supplies or whatever, but it turns out that it wasn't. And pretty much after that, you and Danny now become a team, so y'all can figure y'all way how to get off the island. When you finally go through tooth and nail with Danny, right before you're about to get off the island, you are actually, the plane that you use to get off is actually destroyed by the warden, which I cannot think of that black dude's name. Honestly, like, the story I'll off real quick, I thought that black dude was gonna die at the beginning of the game just because he was black, bro. I was like, I'm kind of waiting on him to die. But other than that, the warden pretty much stops you from getting out of Black Iron. He wants you to die with this passage in, because like, he ain't care about you getting off. So pretty much second half of the game, it ends up turns into you and Danny, instead of y'all now not trying to get off the island because y'all don't have that option anymore, you try to understand where this strand, this mutagen whatever came from and what's infecting people. Pretty much after that, you get put below Black Iron, because when you blow that plane up and you get all the way to the top of Black Iron and they blow the plane up or whatever, you get sent like all the way back down, because that's a one big ass building. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. And yeah, you get put all the way to the bottom, and you have to work your way back up, because you're pretty much underground of Black Iron after that. So you and her go through a series of robots and harder enemies just to try to figure out what the mutagen was. Now, once you finally get to the place, you do start to understand that there was more to what was going on necessarily. And the mutagen, that you do find it, and it was in like some science lab that was underground. And it turns out that one of the things that Danny was trying to find, like back on your ship, it actually turns out that it was indeed on your ship, just under some stuff. But once you figure out that you were like in on it without knowing, you start to see things. You know, you start to go a little crazy after that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Pretty much after that, you go to look for the warden, because you knew he would have the answers. Now, going to look for the warden, Danny ends up actually getting infected by the pathogen, and you have to find a way to cure her. Now, one of the scientists, she's actually still alive. All the scientists are dead, but there's one that's still alive. You have to make it to her because, and when you figure out that Danny's infected, you get punched out by like some robots or whatever, and you get thrown back in jail, bro. Like it's insane. They had like a lot of ups and downs going on in this game. So yeah, somehow Danny makes it to the doctor, and the doctor has to lead you back to her safe area where she's at in the prison, and yeah, you have to grab the cure for Danny and make it all the way back to the doctor. Once you make it to the doctor leads you out to go find the warden. She doesn't become cured, I don't think, all the way. I think you have to make it to the warden because she had something that slowed it down, but she didn't necessarily have the cure. She knew where to get the cure from, so you had to go fight the warden. And that was fine and all. That was nice, but at the end of the game, because this is pretty much end of the game, to save Danny, you have to fight Ferris. And what I should have said was, at the beginning of the game, Ferris, he don't, he's not the warden necessarily, but I think he's like the top like guy there or whatever out of like the police that's there or whatever necessarily. And yeah, this dude don't give a fuck. Like, you have to fight this man like 2 or 3 times in the game. The first time it was through cutscene, he gets taken out by the infected and you believe he's dead. The second time was when when you figured out that you were part of the plan without really knowing, which I thought that was an excellent plot twist to the game. You were actually helping out Black Iron Prison without trying to help them out. You were supplying them the pathogen to infect people. So, with that being said, at the end of the game, you do find out that the warden is actually in on it and that they were purposely infecting people to the way he said it was like he was doing it to evolve the human race, because you're in a space world and there's like aliens and there's all these other possibilities out there. So he felt like that the humans as a species was pretty weak to everything else. So he wanted to do it to make humans stronger. And that was always the plan. He had other places that he wanted to do it at necessarily too. Like they had like a whole like group going on, bro. Like I don't know what that was. I was like the United Nations, but like alien form or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you end up having to fight Ferris again because he's still infected, and I think his infection like went wrong or something because boy got super mutant up or whatever, and you had to fight him as the final boss fight or whatever. Cool, nice, whatever. After you kill him, the warden ain't really there. He's just a hologram. He's been a hologram this entire game. So like they don't really ever freaking explain where he actually is, which that's a downer because I thought I was gonna get to kill him, but that was the first time I did the black dude right. I ain't gonna hold you up. Like I was like, well, I'm about to kill this dude, and then when we tried to kill him, he was a hologram. I was like, I should have seen that coming. But after you kill Ferris, you do get the cure to save Danny, so you save her. That's fine and all, and then Black Iron self-destructs. Like, you're like, okay, cool. It self-destructs, then I'm like, oh, that's nice. So you and Danny have to run, and when you find a pod, you do actually find a pod in the ship to get out, but there's only one. Once you realize how much bad you have done and how many people you have killed, because you do find out that in the beginning of the game, they show Danny, and they show, like, the town, like, all people dying from the infection and everything and people turning or whatever. You find out that you were part of the plan and you got Danny's sister killed. And that was part of the reason why she came on your ship looking for what the pathogen was. And, she thought you didn't have it at first, but you ended up dead and you didn't know. You decided that, you had to save her instead because you felt bad for what you had done. So pretty much once you make it out, she makes it out, my bad. She goes up and you leave and you about to, fight all the enemies at the end. Yeah, that's like the ending of the game, and they literally is saying what happened and stuff like that. But they leave you on a cliffhanger because apparently at the end, Ferris doesn't die. He screams at you, and then the game cuts off, and then it goes to blank. With that being said, I give this game like it's like an 8. Like, it's not terrible, but the cliffhanger was nice. I mean, like, this game was aesthetically beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but like leaving it on a cliffhanger, it was nice. It has like its ups and downs to it. So, like I said, 8. But with that being said, y'all, thank you for watching the video. Until next time, we out. Wait. Did y'all think I wasn't gonna talk about the final transmission? The DLC to this game? Yes. The Callisto Protocol final transmission. Before we even get started, now, I did say that we left on a cliffhanger, right? Yeah, so the final transmission is the DLC. Now, here's the ass kicker. This actually wasn't DLC. This was the true ending of the game, and they took it out and charged you $15 or something like that for it. Now, don't get me wrong. Y'all not gonna have new video content of this because apparently they thought I was gonna pay $15 for that. That's insanity. Like, as a business model, I don't know why they thought that that was a good idea. Because don't get me wrong. The story for this game is actually good. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, the plot twist was nice. I enjoyed it. The animations was good. The enemy types were good. And then they threw that curveball in there. I was like, this was the bigger plot twist than the plot twist. You gotta pay money to finish the game. I was like, who thought this was a good business decision? So, the final transmission was, at the end of the cliffhanger, apparently you actually don't die. You survive all those monsters. And the scientist who is still there, apparently she knows another way to get you out. So when she finds out another way to get you out, you pretty much continue where you left off. And the scientist she's now repenting for what she has done, causing like the infection to get as bad as it did and helping out the warden. And she wants to, get the warden in trouble and let the world know what was really happening behind closed doors. So you pretty much have to find your way and make your way to her so that you could get on this other, ship that existed. But while you're going through this DLC, like I said earlier in the video, you start to go crazy, but it's more noticeable in the DLC. Like, through most of the DLC, you're going crazy. Like, you're seeing stuff that's not there. You're doing this, you're doing that, or whatever. So you make it to her or whatever, because I'm gonna leave this short and simple, because when I watched the DLC, I ain't pay $15 for that. I was a little disappointed because, you get towards her and then she ends up dying, right? One of the infected ends up killing her. And then apparently she ends up becoming the final boss once you make it into the apparent last ship that's there that nobody knew about whatsoever. Like, not explained whatsoever. She just knew about a ship that was there. I was like, where the fuck did this ship come from? Anyways, she becomes the final boss because apparently she didn't die. She ends up becoming infected, and she's like one of those big enemy types that you gotta kill or whatever whatsoever. You kill her. After you kill her, you get on the ship, and then the light starts, getting bright or whatever. And when it cuts through, she doesn't actually die. Half your body is gone. There's cords hooked up to you, and the neck thing, which I believe is called the core. Jesus, it took me so long to figure that out. She's transferring all the data to Danny because you and Danny's cores are connected from not even the first game, or the first half of the game. So she's transferring all the data. So apparently at the end of the non-DLC, you didn't make it, and all the stuff that you're playing in the DLC is just a figment of your imagination. I was like, wow, I'm sorry for the people that who spent the $15, because like it's like what, it's maybe like 2 hours, that's all you're really getting out of it. But it was really disappointing. It was really disappointing that they did it that way. You're just the upper half of the body, your cord, your face is all beat up, and you're hallucinating stuff because you're pretty much on death's door. Like I said, the game was good. I don't know why that was the ending. Like, I've seen like people be like, #justice for Jacob. Like, honestly, I agree, because it was like disrespectful how they did the character, and the money hungry business model that they decided to do, make you pay $15, completely ruins the game. Because like, the DLC isn't bad. You do get like another melee weapon. They did a little bit more stuff with the DLC. It wasn't much, but they did a little bit more with the DLC. So like, I was a little disappointed like why that DLC, why it was the way it was. It literally destroys the game because they did it like that, and it was $15. So yeah, what I didn't say was, y'all thought the final verdict was an 8 out of 10, but I didn't say the final verdict. I just said 8 out of 10. So my final verdict for this game is an easy 6 out of 10. And I really was close to giving it a 5 because of how badly they destroyed the ending, y'all. But until next time, I'm out.